Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here in the World of Juice channel, and welcome back to another episode of the Honolulu Desperados. And today, we've got ourselves an off-season episode. And this isn't just going to be some normal off-season episode. This is going to be the biggest off-season episode in Honolulu history. Because we're going to be completely changing the look of this team. Not because I want to, but because we are going to be forced to with the lack of money that we have in salary cap. So we're going to be changing the team a whole heck of a lot. And I cannot wait to see what happens. But I'm burying the lead on the most important thing that happened last episode. As you know, we had the playoffs. And I had been building this playoff run very highly. Because, to be fair, it was the last chance for this core players to get a championship before we all go our separate ways and we have to rebuild this team again. So there was a lot of pressure, a lot of stuff riding on this game and these playoff games that we played, this playoff run as a whole. We went into it, we played the wild card, we won the wild card. We went into the divisional, we played the divisional, we won the divisional. We went to the NFC Championship, went up against what could be considered our new rivals, at least in playoff terms, the Detroit Lions, the team that won the Super Bowl the year previous. We went into their ballpark. This isn't baseball. We went into their stadium, Ford Field, and we got our revenge. They knocked us out last season, and we beat them. We go to the Super Bowl. We got our first ever NFC Championship in franchise history. But it didn't stop there, because we went to the Super Bowl, we played the Miami Dolphins, and we got the championship. We have completed the redemption story. We have completed the rebuild, technically. And we have won our first championship in franchise history. We are now Super Bowl champions, the defending Super Bowl champions. And now I can rest easy because all of these seasons, these 3 previous seasons, didn't, live up to nothing. They didn't end up meaning nothing. And by what I mean by that is we were paying all these guys tons and tons of money. Fred Warner, Sauce Gardner, all of the receivers, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle. Our quarterback, Anthony Richardson, is going to need a new huge contract. Bijan Robinson's getting paid a whole lot. The offensive line's getting paid a whole heck of a lot. The tight ends are getting paid. Everyone on the defense is getting paid. Micah Parsons. Everybody. And so I was really, really concerned that we were going to end this little stretch of seasons with nothing to show for it. But we finally came in the clutch, and we got it done in the end, winning our first ever Super Bowl and moving on with the dynasty. It's going to be a crazy, crazy episode. I hope you guys are ready for it. If you are, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and let's get started reshaping this Desperado organization. We pick up right where we left off, and I will say this right off the bat, I have gone through and created my big board, my favorites list for the draft. Now, I have a lot of players on that draft board, but as we get closer to the draft, mock draft number 4, mock draft number 5, we learn more about these players, we get to 95, 100% on some of these players, I will probably start to whittle it down to my absolute favorites. But for right now, I have a lot of players on the list to kind of keep my options open. So we'll get to that when it gets closer to the actual draft, which will end the episode. But before we get into the actual offseason, let's take a look at our draft capital, because we have pick 15 from the Chargers and pick 32 from our own pick, which is going to be the last pick of the first round. We also have a second round pick from the Chargers. We have a 6th round pick from the Chargers, and we have the Chargers next year first round pick. So we are kind of loaded on draft capital. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to use both of these picks. We could obviously trade up, or we could trade down and get more draft pick capital for the future. There's a ton of possibilities that we could go for here. I'm not 100% sure what the game plan is going to be. I first want to make sure that everything is bought. Okay, so everything's bought on this side. Everything is bought over here that I wanted to get. Okay, so that's perfect. Okay, so I can spend all those staff points at another time. Probably sometime off camera or something, but that is good that we have the stuff that I needed to unlock. So retirements, is there any big retirements this year? Shaq Leonard's gone, Tyrann Mathieu, Trey Turner, Corey Linsley, Matt Judon, Desmond Carr, or Desmond Carr. I was looking at both of these guys. Desmond King and Derek Carr. Lyle Collins, David Bakhtiari. Man, Packers lose both their tackles. Lions lose Taylor Decker, Jake Matthews, Khalil Mack, Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones. Wow, this is a pretty big name class. Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Odell retires. Fletcher Cox, Matt Stafford, Jimmy Garoppolo I saw up there. It's a huge free agent class. A lot of names are gone from the NFL. Lost to history, lost to time. Let's get to the re-sign period because this is where tragedy strikes. This is where the bad things happen. We're not going to obviously have any money in free agency, so we can't make any off-season moves like that. But these are the players that we're going to have to see walk. Sauce Gardner, Fred Warner, Puka Nacua, Devon Achane, Joey Porter Jr., Derek Stingley Jr., Trayvon Walker, Dom Grubbs will get an option. Josh Downs, Jamison Williams, Cole Strange, B.J. Ojulari, Rafael Gomes will get an option. Miles Sanders, Romeo Okwara, Sergio McBath, all guys will be gone from this organization after the year. The ones that hurt the most are obviously the top three, but then after that, losing our backup running back is going to hurt. Losing basically our entire cornerback room is going to hurt. Losing basically our entire wide receiver core is going to hurt. So, I mean, we're going to be hurting a lot. It's going to be a bad time. I wonder if I hit withdrawal offer, does that mean I can... Let me withdraw my offer on like Cole Strange or something. Does that mean I can franchise tag? Wait, what'd that say? When you withdraw the... You won't... Oh, it says it right up there. So we can't franchise tag if we do that. I don't think I can even offer a contract to franchise tag. If I were to offer the cheapest amount of money physically possible in our bank account, then I still wouldn't even be able to get close to offering a franchise tag on anybody. Yeah, it's not even going to come close. So everybody's going to walk. This team is going to look very different next season, and it's not like I can even trade these guys for something else because we don't have the salary cap to take on anything. Unless I can trade them for draft picks. Maybe I can try that. Let's try to trade Sauce for draft picks. Maybe I can capitalize on him leaving by getting a whole bunch of capital in return. He's going to be very valuable. If I'm going to trade Sauce, I want to get first-round picks. That's for sure. That's pretty obvious, I would think. And the Niners will give me 3 straight first-round picks and a second-round pick. The San Francisco 49ers are giving me a good offer, but I would be giving them to our... I would be giving Sauce Gardner to a direct rival. So I hate that they're giving me one of the best offers, and yet I can't in good conscience give the Niners a player like Sauce Gardner. The Steelers are giving me a ton of great picks. The Bears are giving me the 2nd overall pick for Sauce Gardner. I don't even know if these trades will go through. Like I said, we might be so over the cap that I can't even accept these draft picks. So we'll test it out, see if we can accept a draft pick. Man, that Niners package is giving me the works, man. They are giving me 3 first-round picks plus a second-round pick. Yeah, see, we can't even do it anyway. So none of these guys can get traded. What if I was to put up all 3 of them? What can I get? I can get a whole heck of a lot, I would guess. Look at these trade offers. I can get Max Crosby. I can get all kinds of players, but obviously we're not going to be able to accept any of these trades. We can get Tristan Wirfs. Yeah, we can't accept any of these trades. So these guys are going to have to walk, unfortunately. Hurts my soul. Hurts my ever-loving soul. Unless it's because... Do the Bills have cap room? The Bills do have cap room. but it's because we don't have any cap room. So we could have got a whole lot for him, but can't do anything. They have to walk. So advance the week. Oh, that hurt. That hurt to press that button. That hurt to press that button. Obviously, we can't go into free agency and sign anybody, but we can see where these guys do sign. Tyreek's in this free agency class as well. Oh, where are these guys going to go? Where are they going to go? Sauce Gardner has signed with the Washington Commanders. Fred Warner signs with the Rams. Puka signs with the Titans. Devon Achane signs with the Chargers. Laporta also signed with the Chargers. That's a big get for the Chargers. Jamel Dean's a Bronco now. Derek Stingley's a Jaguar. Oh, Josh Downs is a Colts again. This just hurt my heart, man. Hurt my heart. Losing all those talented players is just brutal. Absolutely brutal. But that's the price you pay for a Super Bowl. It is the price you pay. And we got it. That's what I was worried about. I was worried about not being able to come away with a championship. We came away with a championship. We got the job done. Who's a new retirement? Marcus Peters and Marcus Mariota. 2 Marcuses done from the league. But most importantly, it is getting ever so close to the NFL draft, where we can make some dreams come true and maybe replace some of those players that we just let go. So this is our first chance to get a look at our class, or on my board here. So I have obviously those linebackers that we talked about earlier, but I've added a ton of extra players. I've added some quarterbacks that look intriguing. I've added some running backs because we're going to need some. I've added some receivers, obviously, because we're going to need some of those as well. So I've added a bunch of receivers. I've added some tight ends, some offensive linemen. Basically, every single position is represented on this list. So we are going to... I don't even really know what we're going to be looking at here. Probably not going to use one of these on a quarterback. But a running back, certainly, I could think about using one of these on. So a day 3 to 4 guy. He's got great to elite speed. Or is that good to great speed? He's got decent speed. What was his speed? His speed was... It was great. I was looking at the jumping. It was elite. Jalen Douglas. He has solid speed. So I might want to take him off the board right away. Larry Bolden has great speed. He looks kind of athletic. Perry McMillan. Great speed. Nobody, as far as I've seen, has elite speed right now. I'm not liking that. I'm not liking the fact that none of these running backs have elite speed. Bernie Short could be the best one available. He looks pretty decent. He ran a 4.35. He's the fastest running back in the class. He also has a 4.29 at his pro day. So Bernie Short is a little speed demon. We'll probably use one on him. We got to look at some receivers. So let's take a look at Josh Bowie. 6'4", big body, big target. Ran pretty well. Could be a guy that we look at. Jose Burnett, 5'8" deep threat with elite acceleration. Another intriguing option. Nick Moore. Doesn't look fantastic physically, but he could be good. Lynn Lashley, he's got elite speed, but he's the 3rd fastest. And the 4th fastest at his combo, or his pro day. So there's 2 other fast receivers in this class. And he ran a 4.3, so somebody's running a 4.2 probably. Glenn Hawkins, 4.42, which is not to be sneezed at. Warren Pearson, he ran a 4.39. Am I going to be able to find the fast receiver? I would assume I put him on my board. I mean, I put a ton of receivers on here. The odds that I have the 2 fast receivers have to be high, right? Amir Fountain, I put him on here because of his name, not because he was good. Jaden Thomas. I mean, I had to have put the receiver on here. Do I not have the 2 fastest receivers on here? I don't think I do. Howie Coleman. No, I guess I don't have the 2 fastest receivers. That's crazy. Who is the fastest receiver in the class? Is it Damian Hyde? No, he's slow. I have all these guys. Is it Amari Vernon? 6'2". No, it's not him. Anthony Guerrero? Not you. Jay Nance? Jim's son? It's not him either. Kirk McGill? It's got to be somebody, right? Who is the fastest receiver in this effing class? Jamarcus Beckham? I mean, he's got a great last name, and it's not him. Marco Landry? 6'3", be crazy if he was fast. Alan Reese. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this guy. He didn't even go to the combine. Evan Drayton? 4'5". Jeremiah Rice? Man, I guess I should have done my due diligence. I thought that I did. But I can't find the fastest receivers in this class. That's kind of crazy. It's got to be Sheldon Pemberton. With a name like that, no, it's not him. Rudy. Oh, I'm not saying that name. I caught myself on that. Okay. Patrick Hollister. Not you either. I mean, these guys are fast, but they're not 4.3 fast. I mean, we're at the end of this list. It's got to be some of these guys. 4.5. All these guys are undrafted. Taekwon Rowe, not you either. Carlos Cone. Cone? Oh, he ran 4.3. 4.3. He's the second fastest. Carlos Cone. Nick Murphy. 4.2 or 4.42. Chris Killings. Nope. So it's got to be this guy. Jose Esperanza has to be the fastest receiver. He's not. So who did I pass up on? So we know Carlos Cone ran a 4.3. But there's some other player in this class that's faster than the other two guys that I didn't see. And I'm not sure who it is. So I guess we'll put that on the back burner for now. We'll have to remember Carlos Cone. But I am going to, speaking of that, I am going to actually scout some of these guys. Daryl Sullivan looks crazy. He's 6'5" with decent enough athletics, but he looks pretty crazy. So I think I'm going to use one on Daryl Sullivan. Probably not a tight end. Probably should use one on a guard, shouldn't I? Should we use one on a guard? John Mitchell. He doesn't have the athleticism. What about Sean Candidate? He looks okay. Austin Eppard. Now, he looks good athletically. He could be my guy. Carlos Mann. Also looks pretty good. Okay, so I like these two guys, Eppard and Mann. That's why I have them on my list. So we'll probably use... I'll come back for the receiver. I realize that it took that away. I'll come back and get those two guys. Should we get a rush end or something? I mean, elite strength is pretty good. What about Dave Rudd? He's a speed rusher with elite speed. I wonder when he'll go in the class, though. We'll use these three guys. Dave Rudd, we'll get Austin Eppard, and we'll go back and get that receiver, Daryl Sullivan. So those will be the three guys that we used right now. Then obviously when we simulate to the next one, we'll have three more. I don't really know where we're going to go in this draft. Mock draft number 5 is going to be very big because we need to see if we're going to need to trade up, if we're going to need to trade down, if we're going to need to just do whatever. So it's going to be very, very big, very important to see what happens here. So mock draft number 5 has a quarterback going number 1 overall to the Titans. Then Spellman. Dave Rudd actually is going to go number 3. Very interesting. To the Patriots. Anybody that we scouted? So our first pick they have us taking Lynn Lashley. All right. Daryl Sullivan's going to go to 18. And he is actually a round 1 talent. I wish he was a top 5. I mean, he looks crazy. He's got 4.4 speed at 6'5". He's got A carrying, A ball carrying vision, A catching traffic, spectacular catches an A. I mean, he looks really good. He looks like a first-round wide receiver. What do they have us taking at our other pick? They have us taking Jalen Douglas, who we're not going to take. Man, this is kind of crazy. We could stick at 15 and take Daryl Sullivan. That's a possibility. How good was the pass rushers? Where are they at? Who did I use it on? Oh, I used it on Dave Rudd. That's right. So he's going to go top of the class. And then left guard, we used it on Eppard. He's actually round 3 to 4. Well, that's good to know. And then we know the receiver is around 1 talent. He's around 1 talent, and he is not even on my board. Did I not add him to the board? Do I not have that receiver on my... I don't even have Daryl Sullivan on my board. Okay, I thought I added him. I got to go get that receiver as well. Where's he at? Carlos Cone. I kind of want to put him on there to see how good he is. I might do that, actually. Where do we go with these final ones? I don't know. I don't know. Private workouts. I think I am going to do that final receiver, Carlos Cone. I want to know exactly where he stands. But then everybody else, I think we might need to go with a linebacker because we did just lose Fred Warner, and we probably should go with a corner as well. So what kind of corners are we looking at, or what kind of linebackers are we looking at here? We're looking at Ben Ingram, who has elite speed. I like the sound of that. And a zone coverage. What's his archetype? He's a field general. Okay. So he looks pretty good. Ben Ingram could be something. Paul Hargrove is very good athletically. He's kind of good all around, but he only has B zone coverage. And then you got Brian Middleton with the elite speed. He's the fastest linebacker. Wow, okay. I'm intrigued by a couple of those guys. And then let's look at corners. Am I going to be able to grab any of these corners? Most likely not. Javonte Moss has good speed, 4.3 speed, and that zone coverage could be an A. If that zone coverage is an A, then he's probably going to be a pretty good player. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Javonte Moss. We're going to use Brian Middleton. No. I think we'll take a... If Brian Middleton's there, we'll take a flyer on him. Ben Ingram is who I'm more curious about. And then we'll go down and get that receiver Cone. Just because I'm curious to see how good he actually is with that speed. So those will be my final guys. My final guys that I scout. I haven't even taken a look at the team yet since we lost those guys. I'm too scared to. I'm too scared to look at the team. Let's do it. Before we jump in, let's take a look at the squad. What are we down to? Adjust the lineup. We need another running back, that's for sure. Freiermuth has actually jumped Njoku. That's kind of crazy. We have Shepard taking over for Cole Strange. But to be honest, it's not that bad of a thing. Cole Strange is getting called for a lot of holdings. We need to come away with a receiver. Right now, our entire receiving core is Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. And then on defense, we have Kaiser White and Wagner, Hitchens now, Uche. The entire linebacking core looks a lot different. Corners are looking a little weak. I mean, we are a weak team right now. We lost a lot of good players. A lot of our depth pieces are now starters. We lost a lot of good pieces. This is going to be quite the interesting season. Season 5 is going to be crazy. Okay, I think it's time to start the draft. I don't think I have any other concerns about scouting. The first pick in the draft, the Tennessee Titans take Marquise Cartwright. Why did I say his name entirely weird? Marquise Cartwright. There we go. Quarterback from Stanford, but we knew he was around 2 to 3 talent. So he's going to be not as good as the Titans might think he is. Montrell Spellman goes 2 to the Bears. Bears. Patriots take Dave Rudd. I think they got a good one there. Tremaine Samuels goes 4 to the Seahawks. Damian Hyde goes to the Jets at 5. James Meeks heads to Tampa Bay. Marco Landry to LA with the Rams. Frank Hawthorne goes to the Vikings. Falcons take Javonte Moss, who was who we were looking at. Dennis Novak is a quarterback from Purdue going to the Raiders. The Raiders. Seth Peralta to the Colts. Jermichael Pettis to the Washington Commanders. Giants take Josh Bowie. And the Broncos take Sean Candidate. And now we are up. So this is where we were taking that receiver. I forget who the receiver was. It was Lynn Lashley is who they had us taking. We could grab Daryl Sullivan. How good is that receiver? He's a day 3 guy, which to be honest is not that bad since he's potentially undrafted anyway. How good was that linebacker as well? Ben Ingram. He is around 2 to 3, so he's true to form. He is around 2 to 3, but he looks pretty decent. So does Brandon Schaefer, so we'll have to keep an eye on both of those guys. Will Booth is actually still here, and I didn't think he'd still be here. He does look pretty good. Is he a pass rushing kind of guy? He's a power rusher. 6'4", A power moves, A hit power, B finesse moves, B block shed. I mean, I didn't think Will Booth would still be here, and he's still here. Eric Chamberlain, same deal. I thought Eric Chamberlain would be gone by now too, who looks fantastic. But can we really prioritize a tackle in the top 15 when we need so many other positions and we're not really that desperate at tackle? We're not really in a position to take BPA, so I think we need to pass on that. Will Booth looks really good, but I think we need a receiver. We need Daryl Sullivan. Lynn Lashley. Oh, Lynn Lashley does look pretty good, doesn't he? With that elite speed, 4.3 speed, Lynn Lashley could be our guy, but he's not 6'5" like Sullivan is. I guess I should have scouted Lynn Lashley a little bit more. I think this has to be Lynn Lashley here. I don't think we can pass up on the elite speed, the elite agility, 4.3 speed. I gotta take Lynn. Thank God he has a development trait. Ooh, I got a little scared there for a second. Lynn Lashley is our third receiver now. 97 speed. We couldn't pass up. That's just, you can't teach speed. You cannot teach speed. We had to grab Lynn Lashley with our pick. Aaron Overstreet goes to the Saints. Aaron Hines, Jaguars. Daryl Sullivan does head to Cleveland. Eric Chamberlain to Packers. Kyle Johnson. That one hurts a little bit that Sullivan's going to Cleveland. I really wanted him, but Lynn Lashley was just too fast. I couldn't pass it up. Could not pass it up. Bush, Luke Clay, Nicholas Donald, Bruce Sims, and then George Smith. Okay, we're back up here with our second first-round Smith, and Will Booth is still available. Since Will Booth is still available, I think that we got to grab him, right? I mean, I was going to take him. I was considering taking him in the 15th pick. I hope you're good, Will Booth. Please be good. No! No, Will Booth has the normal development. Oh. He looks so good, though. I mean, he doesn't look amazing, but he looks good enough to be a first-round pick. And not having the development trait kills. Oh, Will, you're from Ohio State. Why did you have to have no development trait? Oh, that's a brutal miss. In a draft like this, we cannot be having a miss like that. Oh, that's a brutal miss. He might end up being good, and he'll probably play a little bit, but that is a brutal miss. That's tough. That is tough. Schaefer and Ingram are still here. I feel like we got to take one of these linebackers here. Brandon Schaefer. He's dropped to solid speed? What the heck? Is that the same guy that I was looking at? No, it's Brian Middleton. This is the guy that I was looking at. I got the portrait confused. They have the same portrait. I thought it was the same guy. Okay, so I think we might be able to hold off on Ben Ingram then. Maybe until our final pick of the second round. We might be able to hold off on him. We probably do need to grab a corner, though. Is there a corner that is good? Darius Barker could be something. DeJuan Allen is 6'1". Pretty good athletically. Pretty fast. I think DeJuan Allen's better than Darius Barker. Is Cliff Bolden better than DeJuan Allen? He's faster. He's definitely faster, but DeJuan Allen has the ability to have a man coverage. Now, he is a zone corner, so it's most likely that it's a B or a C, but he has the possibility of having a man coverage. Now, his zone coverage is most likely a B. Cliff Bolden is a man-to-man archetype, so his man coverage is most likely a B, but his zone coverage is B to D, so it's probably a B or a C. I wouldn't think it'd be a D, but it could be. Oh, both these guys look pretty good. Bolden's faster, but DeJuan Allen's taller and still pretty fast. 6'1". I mean, he's the second fastest corner at the combine. So, and it's not like Bolden has elite speed, does he? I don't remember seeing it. He has great speed. And DeJuan Allen has great speed as well. That's probably a difference of a couple overalls. Maybe like, or a couple points. Maybe Bolden has like 96, 97 speed. Maybe Allen has 94, 95 speed. I'd still take that. I'm going to take DeJuan Allen. He's got normal development too. Oh, I'm missing on so many players. I mean, 93 speed, 93 excel. He's a great player. But the normal development is brutal. We can't be missing on guys like that. Quincy Wolf goes, Daryl Lovelock, Desmond Alexander, Kevin Williams. It's going to be interesting to see if our guy makes it to the final pick. There goes Darius Barker. Henry Brinkley, Joe Ramos, Matthew Gibson, Hargrove, Banks. There goes Cliff Bolden. Just a couple picks before us. So Ben Ingram makes it here. Man, that's brutal. Brutal missing on 2 of those picks. Ben Ingram, please do not miss. Development trait. You saved me, Ben. You saved me. 91 speed, 89 excel. Okay. That's a good pick. We got good value out of that. That's a nice solid pick in the back half of the second round. We go to the final pick of the third round. This is where we probably have to start looking at our board here. So we need to come away with a running back, I think, and another receiver. Those are like absolutes. But Manny Philbin is still here. And Manny Philbin looks pretty decent athletically. He's got B's across the board. Do I fall for the trap and take Manny Philbin? I mean, he looks really good. Oh, do I take Manny Philbin? Do I take Manny Philbin? Antonio Bryan doesn't look amazing. He's too much of a risk. Why do they got to do this to me? 6'5", Chantrell Colbert. Doesn't look as good as Philbin, but doesn't look bad. Why they got to do this to me? Why they got to do me dirty like this? Just give me all the good players and let everybody else suck. Roger Kendricks might have to be a guy that I go for. If I take Roger Kendricks, Manny Philbin will be gone. But both of them could be gone. There's a likelihood that Roger Kendricks makes it to round 4. But there's a low possibility that he does. I'm going to prioritize receiver. Roger Kendricks. No! Not again! The third time! It's not as bad for receiver, because if you give them one good game, then they'll get a development upgrade. But, oh, it's easier to get them one good game. 93 speed, 95 excel, that's a great receiver in terms of just pure speed on the field. But not have a development trait, man, I am not having the draft that I wanted. 4th round now. Philbin is gone, but Chantrell Colbert's there. But at this point, we need to focus on the board. So Von Hicks is available. He's a day 3 guy. We need a running back, but I think he might be just a waste of a pick. I don't want to waste a pick. I've already feel like I've wasted too many picks. We probably need to come away with another corner, and the only corner that I have left on the board is Ricardo Barnes. Now, I put him on here for a reason, and that's because he looks not horrible. He's 6'1" with elite acceleration. He's a day 3 guy. Ricardo Barnes, we need bodies at corner. Another miss with the development trait, but I need corners. We lost our entire cornerback room in the offseason, earlier in the offseason, so I needed that. Who else is left on my board? We got a couple quarterbacks there. We still got Von Hicks. 1 receiver plus Cone, I'm pretty sure, is still available. Oh, man, this is quite the draft, I will say that. Yeah, Cone is still available. I'll probably take him with one of my final picks if he's still available. I hope he should be. What about some of these linebackers? Shane Pryor. I probably should be focused on offensive line, shouldn't I? Or at least looking at offensive line. Josh Rice doesn't look bad. He's got the A-zone coverage, which intrigues me. Emmett Hill also has the A-zone coverage. Looks decent. The only offensive lineman that's left on my board is Cameron Phillips. That's too much of a risk. And if he's normal development, then it's just going to be a waste of a pick because normal development offensive lineman, especially this low, is just a waste. But if you get a normal development player like a linebacker or something, that's a little bit more doable. Darren Quick. You're not very quick for being named Darren Quick. He's pretty mediocre around the board. I like these two guys. They're pretty much the same player. All three of these guys are pretty much the exact same. Luke Sharp. One of them is faster, though. I think it's Josh Rice, actually. I think Josh Rice is actually the faster of the three. 4.67. Josh Rice. Welcome aboard. And he actually has a development trait. Okay, that's a good pick in the 5th round. That is a good pick in the 5th round. We go to the 6th round now. We have 2 6th round picks. I think I'm going to grab... I think I want to grab my receiver here, Carlos Cone, because, man, he doesn't do anything well, does he? I'm going to grab him. 95 speed, 95 acceleration. But remember, we had 2 receivers coming into this draft, so adding 3 out of the draft is at least something. And I probably wouldn't have done that at that spot if I didn't have an extra 6th round pick, so I needed that. And now I can still come away with Luke Sharp if I like him enough. He doesn't look bad. We're going to grab him. Normal development. He's just going to be a roster filler, I would think. And then we have the final pick of the draft. Who's going to be Mr. Irrelevant? The next Brock Purdy. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? There's 2 quarterbacks on the board. George Blond and Jason Archer. They're both potentially undrafted. This guy sucks. And Jason Archer... 6'1" out of San Diego State. He's not as good as the other guy, actually. George Blond is probably a little bit better. He's going to be a bad, bad player. But I'm going to take him. He's going to be so bad. He's going to be in the 50s. He's got 93 throw power, though. So that's something. But he's going to be so bad. All right, we go to... Draft recap, 75 for Lynn Lashley. I mean, you can't teach speed, man. I had to take him. Will Booth is a 73. DeJuan Allen's a 75. Ben Ingram's a 72. I missed on Roger Kendrick, especially because he doesn't have a development trait. That's a big miss, but he's a body at receiver. And then Ricardo Barnes is 72. 63 on Rice. 67 on Cone. 95. 64 on Luke Sharp and a 57 on Blonde. I told you he was going to be in the 50s. Oh, man, that draft was kind of up and down. The best player was Darius Barker, actually. Jalen Douglas, Javonte Moscos, he was at the top. Daryl Sullivan was at the top. He was a 76. We could have came away with him. I mean, we got Lynn Lashley, who was only 1 low overall lower, but, oh, Daryl Sullivan, I wanted you to. Okay, that wraps up the draft portion, and that wraps up the episode. So we will adjust the lineup and get ready for Season 5. I can't believe we're already 5 seasons deep. So let's adjust the lineup. We didn't come away with a receiver, or a running back, so we have Shepard as the backup running back. Offensive line is going to have to do. I mean, it's basically the same offensive line that we've had, except for Shepard's now in for Cole Strange. But now we add 3 new receivers with Lashley, Livingston, and Cone. And then we have Kendricks there as well. So 4 new receivers. Wait, no, who's Livingston? We didn't draft Livingston. We must have drafted him last year. So we have 4 young receivers underneath Waddle and Smith. It's going to be a wild ride at receiver, that's for sure. And then on defense, I mean, you got to start Wagner at middle linebacker, right? And then Ingram starts over Kaiser White. I would think that's how you would want to play it. Uche and Hitchens The corners are going to be a little interesting. God, this is going to be quite the team. This is going to be quite the team. They still have us highly rated at 88s, but we will see how we simulate. I don't know how we're going to simulate. This is going to be quite the season. You do not want to miss Season 5, which is going to be in the next episode. I will have it ready to go the next time you see me on Honolulu Desperado franchise. So if you enjoyed the episode, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watch. I truly appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.